Okay, I'm back. Where was it? Alright, issue 239. Sonic ridiculously gives away his location by calling out to Mecha Sally. Worse yet, when Mecha Sally finds out Eliza has fled and is no longer at home, does she try even the least bit to find him? No, she just gives up and heads back. How is that not freaking lazy? Ugh, do I even need to go on? Ian is a lazy writer. Accept that fact. Quit acting like the mandates are massively hindering his creativity. Then they aren't. They hinder somewhat, yes, but Ian's writing is lazy because he's a lazy writer. Not to mention he's working on too many books at once to give the series his full attention. Of course his writing's going to be lazy. Seriously, Flynn, stick to 1 or 2 books and quit cheating the fans already. Mixed fan. Here's what Mixed fan says, and then ASL rebuttals this. Ian makes Sonic heartless. Yeah, right. Sonic is going around the world trying to save Sally, and while he's at it, he saves Luke and Hathor from the DEL with the help of Amy, Tails, and the Wolf Twins, saves the villages of Feral Forest, and is now currently trying to save the echidnas from extinction in endangered species. How is that heartless? Here's ASL's response. ASL's response. Let me refer you to my first rebuttal about Sonic near the top of this rant. That's all I need to say about Sonic being a heartless jackass. Mixed fan. You want a heartless Sonic? Mike? Then go read Fleet Ray's Sonic the Comic. That comic made Sonic heartless. Here's ASL's response. You obviously haven't read Sonic the Comic that much because after learning more about Sonic the Comic, his emotional problems arc. Okay. Hold on, let me read. You obviously haven't read Sonic the Comic that much because after learning more about Sonic the Comic, his emotional problems are well explained for why he isn't the nicest guy in the world. Here's an explanation from someone who actually read Sonic the Comic. And this is all in italics, and he quotes this person. And he quotes, supporters of the comic will be quick to shift the subject to how Sonic the Comic's version of Sonic is a jerk. They are, of course, normally taking scenes out of context. The scene where he snaps at Porker, he expected Porker to snap right back and stay to prove that he hasn't, prove that he wasn't quitting. Yeah. Also, let's look at things. Sonic, STC Sonic is emotionally repressed. He has a lot of trouble expressing his feelings on a matter and often just gets angry because of this. Also, he's constantly stressed out. He's leading the fight against a madman who used to be his best friend, who thanks to time travel, he himself had to create, and if he gets within 5 feet of any chaos energy, he turns into a bloodthirsty psychopath, who is impervious to any damage and can fly, and has heat vision. The guy's going to be pretty damn stressed all the time. Oh, and did we mention that high amounts of stress can make Sonic go supersonic too? Vicious cycle much. Oh, and now thanks to the shape-shifting Metal X, everyone thinks he's the villain. Yeah. And here's ASL. Yeah, that pretty much... Okay, here's ASL. Yeah, that's pretty bad if you think about it. But at least this Sonic has a valid reason for acting cruel here. Does this Sonic, ArchieSonic, have anything like this to deal with? Heck no! So, just for the record, STS Sonic, ArchieSonic. Here's Mixed Fan now. Mecha Sally. That is the antithesis of pointless shock value. Here's ASL's response. Oh, right, so Sally getting blasted with a torrent, her becoming roboticized, and then graphically cut apart with a blowtorch, or armored, if you will. Weaponized armor, if you will. Antoine getting blown up, Bunny becoming normal from the waist down wasn't pointless shock value at the least? You are too funny. I'll say it again, just in case you didn't get it the first time. This was all done just so Sonic and Tails and Amy would look like the immortal freedom fighters getting tons of glory while the others were violently shoved aside at their expense. Yeah, if that's not pointless shock value, I'm a monkey's uncle. Mixed fan. The whole arc was done to give Sally clothes. You wish Ian could have had Sally have a change of outfit anytime. Here's ASL's response. And yet he didn't, because it would have been too logical for someone as fanboyish as him to do so. Mixed fan. Roboticizing her and turning her into Mecha Sally wasn't done just to give her new clothes. It was done to give Sonic something new to fight for and give the comic a new kind of story to tell. ASL's response. Something new to fight for? You mean he hasn't fought for his friends like this before? Does Endgame ring a bell? But anyway, again, it's not done to tell a new story, but because Ian wanted a story where he left his imprint on the comic. And now that Sally is going to get a new outfit due to a story he told, fans will now be constantly reminded of this current abomination because of what she will soon be wearing. And why did Ian write it in such a controversial way? Wait for it. Wait for it. Shock! Boo! Couldn't resist. Well, that's my rebuttal. To the person who wrote this, if you're a man or woman, that's my rebuttal. To the person who wrote this, if you're a man or woman enough to give me a fair and unbiased reply, feel free to. I welcome you to try and debunk my arguments. To the members of the group, enjoy. And believe me, there are several others at this group, and I think a lot of you know which group I'm talking about, that are in constant agreement with what he said there. Let me check my time. Okay, I got about 7 minutes. But are in constant agreement with him there. And again, you can't honestly blame people like that. I mean, again, it's just a matter of opinion. Like Mixed Fan feels, hey, this is the best thing going. And he has a right to that opinion. A lot of people have a right. Even those in the middle, like myself, have a right to an opinion. My opinion is, hey, I'm willing to give it a chance when it's all said and done after I read it. My opinion is, I don't like what he's done with Sally, but I'm willing to give the rest of the story a chance and wait for it all to be done. And yes, it may sound crazy that I want to wait till she's restored to read it, to see why people either like it or they don't like it, to give an unbiased judgment on it. That's my opinion, and that's my option. That's what I'm doing. But again, it's the opinion of all fans. Yeah, the fan base is going to be divided. I mean, let me explain one thing to ASL and anybody else. The reason there are those like Mixed Fan that support Ian is because they look at Ian as the opportunity. They look at Ian as the impossible, if you will. Basically, Ian Flynn, who wrote Other Ram as a fan, with the help of other people like Jay Foxfire, and the list could go on, they look at Ian as saying, hey, if he can do it, we can do it. And that's why they don't want to give up on him, because he's doing what they want to do. He's writing for the main comic. And he's writing for other comics as well. Yes, I agree. He's probably taking on too much as it is. And with all these mandates coming down from several corporations associated with the comics that he works with, it doesn't help. but he's doing the best he can, and I will give him respect for that. Just like I did in the 2-part video where I gave him credit. He's doing the best he can. And he's doing what he feels is the best he can do. Now again, you can't really blame, like I say, fans that don't like what he's done, because of one reason. They feel that he's had the opportunity time and time again just to wrap this up and then move on. But you see, it's one thing, and I admit, I'm one of the first that said this. Ian's doing this not because of shock value, but because he wants a story that's going to define his legacy. It's going to define who he is. So that, let's say if he does decide to move on to another comic book company, like say Marvel or DC or Image, he could put on his resume that he did a 2-year story arc on Sonic Comic. And there's going to be a lot of companies, believe it or not, they're going to look at that and they're going to say, hey, this guy can do a 2-year story arc. Maybe he's what we need. And they might give him a chance. They might bring him on board. That's why people do this. And also the fact that, believe it or not, it sounds crazy. I've said it too. I've said this before as well. The reason you have this, as people call them, the Sega Sonic cast getting the spotlight, is because we're heading into a big situation. Originally, it was supposed to end in 250, but because of the crossover, it's not. But anyway, it's because of that situation. But also the fact that we're in the 20th anniversary of Sonic CD as well, and it's also their time. You see, basically, this is my opinion. This is my thought. This is my thought on it. I think basically, Ian Flynn, Archie Comics, they worked something out with Sega where they said, well, basically the deal was Sega for about almost 2 years, or at least around that time frame, Ian Flynn would have the Sega characters be the heroes, be the team, and then afterwards he could go back to the way things were, basically make everybody equal. But for a time, basically focus on the Sega Sonic cast so that the fans, the new fans coming in because of the games, can buy the comics. I'm guessing some kind of deal was made. That's the way I look at it. But honestly, like I said, you can't really blame anybody for having difference of opinion. So, again, I'll provide a link down below to this, as well as to Mixed Fans. Comment down below, video response if you guys like. I apologize this was in 3 parts, but I have a 15-minute time limit here on the YT. So let me know what you guys think down below. Video response if you like. Comments are welcome. And talk to you all later. God bless.